Okay, there we go. We are live, and it's the PM Comics Club with me and Matt. And right now we've got a couple special guests. For one, we have, kind of new to the comics community, but she's quickly made an impact on everybody. She's Ava. Say hi.
Hi, guys.
And of course, well, you know him, and if you don't, I have to wonder what kind of rock you've been under this whole time. It's Troy, the guy who created Wampool and is now the artist for Charger.
Hey,
Mr. Marvel.
what's up?
Yeah. So, Matt. So,
Yep.
Matt. Now that we've kind of, we does say we have Ginger as one of our guests today, but we're waiting on her to show up. But do you have any idea where we should go from here?
Where should we go?
Yes, where? We had
Where do you go, my lovely?
Yeah, actually, I got something.
Away from
Troy.
Rama?
Definitely, without a doubt. Troy, I'm actually kind of interested because with Wamp, you got Wampool and Charger on your plate.
Oh, and I'm also doing a 10-page addition to the Little Girl Lethal campaign. I'm doing a 10-page continuation after story too.
Fuck, man, you're a workhorse. It's
Yeah.
Is there anything you're not doing?
So like, you know that thing that like men and women do when they like each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. So
No,
I got plenty of time to do comics.
I'm assuming sleeping isn't one of them, too.
I have never been much of a sleeper. When I was younger, I kind of got myself used to 4 to 5 hours of sleep, because you actually only need 1 hour in total of REM to recharge your body.
For real.
And once your body knows that you deprive yourself of 8 hours, it actually kickstarts it more often so that you get your hour of REM within the time period you're sleeping. So I only ever really sleep about 4 or 5 hours on any given night.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard that you can readjust your sleep schedule just because it's not as necessary to go and have it how most of us have it. Do you do it where after a while then you'll do like some kind of nap or like a 3-hour kind of nap and then go back and get up again, then kind of keep on and off with that kind of schedule?
A 45-minute nod off at any given point during the day will do it for me.
Wow.
So if I just stop and kind of not let myself nod off for like a good 45 minutes, I'll be good again for the rest of the day.
Do you know who else has a similar sleep pattern to Troy, Matt?
Who?
Jim Steranko.
I think that's something that a lot of professionals do.
I'm not kidding though. Yeah, Jim Steranko, the dude, like he doesn't have a quote unquote regular sleeps pattern. He just takes like 2-hour long naps in between work. Otherwise, Jim Steranko is always working.
I mean, it helps me. It's also like kind of mini therapy.
So I guess one thing I guess would be cool to talk about is like everyone pretty much knows the story behind Wampool at this point, but like what's going on with like Charger and the stuff you're doing with Little Girl Lethal, if you don't mind talking about those.
Now, here's the thing that I always let everybody know. I'm not a creator of Charger. I'm the artist. So it's Wes' story that he's been working on for about for over a decade. I've only been signed on to draw him officially about a month. So I'm still learning his backstory right now. What I can say is it's like your classic superhero kind of story, like a young guy becoming a hero. type of story. If you're into like Spider-Man, some of the earlier Spider-Mans and like Ultimate Spider-Man, you're probably gonna like this. You'll see a lot of similarity.
I,
Um,
and now it's good for me because she's not the only teenage character that they're in our corner of the indie sphere. Well, I think although I think Charger's like a couple years older than she is.
yeah, Charger is 16 at this point in the story. So she's what?
Mavis,
14. She got a couple years on her.
yeah, Mavis 14 when Changeling starts.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny. At this point, the Radical Nemesis is 21, so it's funny for her to have a crush on a 16-year-old. But
Oh man, I remember that. Like you had that pic where she is crushing on Charger, and he's like, "Ma'am, I'm like 16," and her response is, "It's okay, I'm a woman."
yeah, yeah, I like to push buttons.
And then I remember that that when you tweeted that out, the only thing you added to it was, "Sadly, this is true."
Well, I mean, it is.
Yeah, it is a thing. Like,
I hate to say it.
it is true. I mean, like when an older man does it with a young girl, everyone loses their mind. But when an older woman does it with a young boy, it seems like
But I also want to add in, everyone should lose their mind when an older man does it. Same way they should lose their mind when an older woman does it. We should lose our mind when older people violate the sanctity of youth's privateness.
Oh,
like we should always, everybody in society should be outraged. That's like the one time I feel everyone is justified in like outrage, and that's when we should be shaming people. I hate to say it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you there.
How's everybody doing? Anybody got some nice projects they're working on?
Well, Matt and I have Matt has McKinnon Chronicles and Mythics. I have Changeling. Ava, do you have anything else besides your YouTube?
No, I'm just kind of just going along with that, just reading some stuff and talking about it, and then just talking about how this SJW culture is affecting not just comics, but also other things within just our culture in general.
Very infectious.
I'm decent with drawing, but I'm not like good on the level where it's consistency. But if I had that, then I would be drawing more. But other than that, it's more just a hobby for that, and I'm just sticking to YouTube.
Well, that's good. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised by how big you got and how quickly it happened. It's like,
yeah, I mean, me too. I definitely didn't expect it.
mm-hmm.
You always gotta, you always gotta be ready for when people decide you're the thing.
I guess so, but I don't know. If anything, I'm just kind of doing my thing, and other people have noticed and they appreciate it. And well, I mean, I guess when first coming in, some people were skeptical, which now from hearing about some stuff, it's like I understand why people were skeptical. But I think for a decent amount of people, at least they have talked to me back and forth here and there and have a better understanding with me, and they don't think, I'm just that I'm an asshole or something.
Kind of what? Matt and I we hadn't really interacted with you outside of Twitter, so we kind of didn't care really any expectations.
Pretty much.
So yeah, like I said, we sort of made the decision we just take you as you were.
Well, thank you.
No
I think that's how it really is for anyone. Just follow along and interact back and forth, and if you know, you guys flow together for back and forth, then awesome. But if not, then, you know, part ways, you know?
Yeah.
Basically, don't be an asshole.
But,
Right.
yeah.
That's your thing.
Yep.
That's just it.
Be kind.
I'm an asshole, and it worked for me. You know what I mean? It really depends on who you are.
Yeah.
A lot of my appeal is that I'm an asshole.
Yeah, but you're
I guess the way I think about it is like if you are an asshole, but it's like in that banter back and forth friendly way and not just like hateful, you know. Instead it's just like that joking around kind that, you know, is
Yeah, I'm the
is
asshole.
playful.
Everyone's happy showed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, where would we place Brian in that, Matt? Because I don't know. Because on the one hand, Brian's like Troy. On the other, though, Brian's the type of guy you.
He's the type of guy you don't want to mess with or see in a dark alley.
Also true.
See, now, but that's the thing. That's because everyone finally learned their lesson and stopped engaging me aggressively.
That is true.
I am not the fucking one. You know what I mean? Like I'm a nice dude, and I try my best to get along with everybody, and you know what I mean. Keep everybody in good spirits. But you know, please miss me with that. You know what I mean? Because I'm a grown man, and I remind everybody we're grown ups.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? At that point, I'm going to speak to you like a grown up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It isn't going to be Twitter banter. It isn't going to be done in gifs. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk to you like a grown ass man.
Oh yeah, duh.
You know. But honestly, these days I don't act antagonistic enough to bring that negativity to me.
Yeah, Brian's a guy who's like he has a twisted sense of humor, but he's a good guy, and just don't cross him is all.
But I mean, I think at this point, what everybody would be benefited by is just accepting everybody and not trying to get everybody to be on this, oh, we all get along, because by nature, humans don't get along always. You know what I mean? By design, we don't always get along. And I think constantly trying to push everyone to constantly get along and be friends and be on the same note makes it worse.
Yeah.
You know, you got to let people disagree. You got to let people, I mean, you know, when I was younger, if me and one of my cousins were getting a little too rowdy with each other, my father and uncle would be like, yo, go fight. Go to the backyard and fight. Come back when you worked it out. and I mean, we need it. Sometimes you got to let that happen metaphorically.
Yeah, I mean, also you'd be surprised how easy it is for men to bond over fighting each other. Like, it's like people do not understand. This is the default way how men interact with each other.
Exactly. But you know what? I've seen women do it too. I don't think it's like strictly men, because I've seen I've seen plenty of women duke it out and end up getting tight afterwards.
I can't say that I have done that with like fighting back and forth with a woman in that aspect. Maybe that's only been with my sisters.
Women are vicious with their sisters. I've seen that.
Dude, like, I mean, just as much as boys, you know, the brothers, they'll fight back and forth. I mean, it doesn't stop when it's sisters. They'll do that too. They'll, you know, elbow each other. They'll punch each other. They'll.
I think it's worse for women because, like, me and my brother, we had the honor code of you don't kick in the nuts. I've seen sisters throw like boob punches and like grab hair, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's.
Oh yeah.
It's true. Back in high school, I saw when girls got into fights. Oh man, they played dirty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's like twisting your arm around, or like, you know, digging your nails in, or pulling hair. Like anything goes, pretty much, except for the face. That's like the only thing I think that like was agreed on. Stay away from the face.
Like even the most ruthless of enemies have like an unspoken agreement of no nut kicking. You can throw a punch anywhere you want. You know, every man that's watching this fight is prepared to shame you if you win by kicking my nut. You will not get the L. I mean, you will not get the W. You will be giving a default L for winning by kicking crotches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember reading the book Aragon, and the bad guy won by kicking his opponent in the nuts.
For real?
For real.
My goodness.
You
You could
know,
tell.
I always.
To be honest, it was written by a 15-year-old, and he really needed an editor.
Wait, I thought the guy was 17 when he started writing it.
I heard he was 15 when he was writing it. Story probably changes over time.
No,
but still.
not like it really matters. I mean, like the dude. I mean, like that dude. Aragon kind of. I don't know. In my head, I feel like it kind of plagiarizes Star Wars anyway. I mean, like, is that
Star Wars, Lord of the Rings?
It's like I'm amazed that that book series ever got popular.
Well, it's ripped off Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. What do you expect?
I guess it's just
and the only reason why Fox didn't sue was because Fox made the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now that's hilarious.
Well, I mean, at least it didn't take off, or that would be what, like you'd see on protest signs. Like Aragon references.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just like I think they only made like the one movie, and it bombed, and that was it.
It was a weird movie. It was weird. I don't know. It didn't. Like, I don't know. There was something about it that it just didn't really. It didn't do it for me.
Didn't do it for a lot of people apparently, just because like.
I could have sworn I saw scenes in that movie.
Like I said, that movie just why when it came out it just bombed. Nobody got bad reviews. Nobody went to see it. It was just. I don't think anyone even remembers that movie. Except for the fact that it had a dragon in it.
Happens.
Oh, but then again, we had The Hobbit, and then everyone forgot about it again.
I didn't watch the Hobbit trilogy. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
What? Why not?
Well, I mean, because it's the prologue. It's a smaller book than any of the individual Lord of the Rings books, and you made it 3 movies. No, right then and there, I got the red flag of this has been watered down. This has been dragged out. This is going to be painful for me personally to watch.
Well, to be honest, it could have been 2 movies, simply because during the big battle at the end, Bilbo gets knocked out, who's the point of view character. So the next time you see everyone, it's when he wakes up. So a lot of the big action sequences could have built out the story.
Right.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Yeah. No, right. No, you're right. You're right.
If I can get back on Wampool, I just saw that Troy, you just put actually it's an old tweet about some logos for fake companies that, well, it doesn't take a genius to see what they're parodying.
Well, I mean, that's good parody, because if you can't recognize what you're parodying, then it's you might as well have just made something from scratch.
Yeah, you got Soy Bucks, Twipster, Zira, TubeVid, In Your Face News, Pineapple.
Because the thing is, I'm very obsessive about my backgrounds. In Wampool, I want the background to tell a story in itself. So I want to make sure there's a live world going on behind it.
Yes. There was only one. When I was reading Wampool, I always kind of felt like there was kind of this old school vibe to it that was like something like out of the Silver Age.
I don't know how I would describe the style I try to get. I really just try to get something people would like out. I don't know. I had a story. And I don't know. That's how it ended up coming out.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I actually just went back and reread it a little earlier in the week, and like I got one of those like proud smiles,
Yeah,
you know, like, oh wow, this is like, oh man, this is solid. I was like, oh man, people weren't just being nice to me. This ain't bad, dude. Like, good job, kid.
yeah, but I'm kind of curious actually. Like, where does the whole thing with like, why did you like, how did you get yourself to settle on Wanpool? Is what I want to know.
What do you mean? In what aspect? Like the name, the character?
I guess the name of the character, because I mean, like, it doesn't take a genius to figure out like what Wanpool is supposed to be a rip on.
Right.
I don't get it.
It goes back. It goes because I am very old school. I've been around when the original Magic was written. And in those days, Captain Cummings used to have a weekly meme contest, and he'd always theme them out. And the theme of the week was Gwenpool. So I drew up a fat Mexican guy in the suit, and the joke was going to be, if they really cared about diversity, this is what Gwenpool would look like. And I really just wanted to give him a funny name. And the funniest name, I mean, the most generic Hispanic name you can come up with, Juanpool. It sounds good. His battle cry sounds good when I say it. But I never finished it in time because I was still like, drawing pencils and inks by hand. And then I had to scan it into Photoshop, and I colored everything with a mouse. So by the time it was finished, the contest was over. But my buddy was like, dude, just keep going with it. He was like, yo, you gotta show people this because it's hilarious. Like, my buddy that I work with, he's like, dude, this is it right there. This guy, he's hilarious. I posted him, and he got 1 like. And then eventually I was in a big shitpost thread, like I like to find myself, and someone responded that one of my answers, they were like, oh, that's gay. So I replied with a picture of Juanpool, and I said, no, Juanpool's gay. And then it took off from there. And then people started asking exactly who he was, and I really didn't have a reply. So I decided to make Juanpool because it seemed like everybody wanted to know who he was. And that was really, really difficult because you really aren't supposed to take a meme and make something out of it. And that's essentially what I attempted to do. So I had to actually make a story. And as I try to write it, I realized that I didn't even know how this guy would make sense. So I had to start from scratch and give him an an origin story. And that's kind of how I came up with the little story that I'm getting ready to put the next part out of.
Yeah, it's just a fat Hispanic bisexual who used to be into a character called Badger Babe. Page who does like what, live streaming?
So I would say he would be comparable to like Boogie, except in Earth 121, heroes exist. They're an actual thing, but they kind of exist with the flow of society. So it's almost like, my version of Watchmen, but not dark and depressing. And it, society has gotten along with superheroes, but in a funny way. So, superheroes are so intermixed into society that, like, you have the chance of getting a female superhero's phone number at the scene of her, like, saving someone, because odds are she's probably going to giggle and blush and be like, yeah, well, why don't you take my number down, but don't tell anybody my number because, my identity and stuff. And also, in this world, comic books aren't stories of fictional heroes. They're tabloids of actual heroes. So you go to the comic book shop to get a tabloid to read up on all the adventures this month your favorite superhero, using mixtures of news clips, articles, and quote unquote writers that kind of like fill in the blanks, so that so it's a little more enjoyable.
You know what this reminds me of? You guys familiar with a Garth Ennis book called The Boys?
No, but no, I haven't heard that one.
Okay, so the thing behind The Boys is like the Boys are essentially like a CIA black bag operation that sort of keep tabs on superheroes. It's their job to sort of keep them in line, make sure that they behave, and if they don't, well, they'll blackmail them, and if they have to, they'll kill them. But the superheroes have also kind of been like, they've kind of gotten into the merchandising game, and they've had comic books told about themselves, and some of them, well, it kind of plays with the idea that, these may or may not have actually happened.
Yeah. That's so. So basically, Wampu's a hero watcher. He blogs about heroes on his TubeVid channel, and he has 1 million subscribers, which isn't a lot, but it's a comic book and it's flashy number. Mm-hmm. And I would describe him at the beginning of the story more on the SJW side.
Wow, for real?
Yes. Well, I mean, look at him. He's a fat bisexual, you know what I mean? Like I would say at the beginning of the story, Wampu would be more of a leftist. For example, he didn't vote for Trump.
So Trump actually ran for president.
Well, I mean, it's a parody of the real world, so I have my own. President, actually, because we're, because we did a lot of back and forth Easter egging. Me and Tim Lim, Thump, Walmart is actually a parody president in my universe.
Wow, Walmart? That is cool.
He's not going to show up. It's just more like you're going to see resist posters. You know what I mean? And that would be my Easter egg tribute to him for us.
What else? That
for
is
the amount of
cool
Easter eggs he's given me.
What else, dude? That's cool as fuck.
So basically, Juan didn't vote for Walmart. But keep in mind, like I said, it's a parody Walmart, so he isn't going around using powers. He's literally just, like Walmart being Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to cabinet meetings, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. He's actually a president that does president stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie did vote for Walmart. Robbie is and that's the funniness of the dynamic. Robbie's a gay conservative, and he voted for Walmart because he's more, you know what I mean? He's of a different background growing up than Juan. It's the whole book itself it's all just satire. I'm just gonna take the piss out of everything I see.
It's like, can you see why I say it's the comics version of Don Quixote?
What would be the windmill scene?
To be honest, it's tough to even say because I don't really want to spoil the story, but Wampu is gonna start to notice the world. You know what I mean? At this point, it's been out long enough that I can talk about part one. When he goes to the source, which is where he goes when he's in that coma, certain things unlock in Juan. So at this point now, this is the character build. This is where that arc starts to go up. And we start to see him go from, SJW blogger to being the hero that I first presented everyone. And I think everyone's going to like it.
Yeah.
Character arc.
Yeah, I think we can definitely say that there that there is nothing else like Juan Pool out there.
I would hope.
Like-
And I look around. I make sure.
There's nothing else up. Actually, that's kind of what I kind of like about all the comics we have out in our corner of the indie sphere is that there's nothing else like them.
It's new life.
Yeah.
It's what I've been saying from the beginning. You really want to fix an industry, you got to start making new characters, new worlds.
Yeah.
Even if it's like just throw spaghetti at the wall. I don't mean like fully fund everything and like everybody throws massive money at every single little idea. But, we need to start giving things a chance to start seeing what's going to build into the next huge thing. And I don't mean necessarily me. You know what I mean? I myself do a lot of supporting of other indie creators because I would love to see any one of us get out there and really start changing the industry in a positive way.
Yeah. If you don't, do you mind if I tell you about the little thing you went back and forth with me behind a little while back?
Sure.
Yeah, because Troy actually hit me up. I think it was like a week or two ago. Troy wanted to do like a babysitting story with Radnem and Maeve. So it's basically 6-year-old Maeve, 13-year-old Radnem. But I told them like it's not gonna work in Changing This Universe because Maeve doesn't figure out she's a banshee until she's 14. But I told them he could just take that idea and run with it in Wampool because why not?
No, definitely. Because the thing is, eventually I want to start telling Radnem's story too, because she's actually a very interesting character.
Yeah,
with a very peculiar backstory.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time pinning down what Radnem is. I mean, like her name obviously sounds like it's a rip on radical feminists, but she dresses like kind of like a hipster or something.
Sorry, I kind of got a little bit of
I will say I really like her shoes, though.
So Radnem is literally just a force of shitposting power. If I could describe it as any way. There's two, the name plays on two things. Yes, radical feminist, but also she can be considered, a foe to anybody at any given time because, she has very few allegiances to anybody, only because of, some of her backstory. Popular TubeVidder, very, very popular creator on TubeVid. Way more followers than Juan. Been doing it for years, has a brand. I would say she would be Aiden Paladin meets Shoe on Head with a Boston accent.
I can see that here. I can see
Oh
that
God!
And oh God!
Oh man! I'm sorry. When you said Shoe on Head, it's like my. Oh man! It was. It's like.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. And the relationship she has with Juan, I would describe as father-daughter.
Oh, thank God! Because I thought it was because I thought if you were going with the Shoe on Head thing, it was going to be like the relationship she has with Armored Skeptic.
No. This is like when he sees her, like he usually calls her mijita. You know what I mean? Like he's very fatherly and protective over her. They've actually known each other for a long time. They have a very, very intertwined backstory to the extent of at a certain point you could even consider he was her babysitter / guardian.
Yeah, Maeve actually kind of has a similar relationship with Regina. But it's more like she looks at Regina more like an older sister / role model.
Yeah. So one can always assume when you see Radnem and Juan together, that would be father-daughter awesomeness getting ready to happen. Nothing sick, nothing gross.
Yeah,
The worst that I've ever done was when I had her laying on the bed all cute. I gave her a Juan Pool stuffy, and that's really because none of the other characters in the story would be recognizable.
Wasn't it supposed to be like a take on this cover to a Britney Spears album anyway?
And it was a parody of the Britney Spears Rolling Stone cover because that I think that helped me grow extra pubic hair when I was in high school.
I think I was in grade school when that issue dropped.
No, actually, I think no. I had to have already been 18 because we're actually the same age, me and her. And I think she was already 18 when that came out.
What year was that?
I mean, probably 99.
Oh yeah, I was in the 3rd grade.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 99. There you go.
I see. I graduated in 2007.
2000.
So I was in 5th grade. Yeah. About to be in 5th grade, I think, when that, when Britney Spears.
Yeah, she meant something different to you.
Yeah, she meant something different to me than you. To a lot of other guys out there.
I was in 3rd grade. She meant nothing to me.
9th grade, at the right time.
Right.
They used to put her video on TRL in the morning, and I was prepared to. I was always late getting dressed for a reason.
That is funny.
I feel like I could actually get with her now. Like I feel like where her life went, I think like I have a chance with her now.
She went a little crazy, man.
That's cool.
You think?
You think?
Yeah, that's cool. It's Britney. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember when she started like running around barefoot eating Cheetos at gas stations. I was like, oh, dude, like I totally have a chance with her now. I was like, I could actually get it.
Just the right moment.
Well, you doubt that.
I lived on the wrong side.
No one can doubt that Troy has game.
I mean, like it depends on the girl. If it's a girl that's into me, yeah, then I have game. If she doesn't really like me, then and I can always tell if I don't have a chance with a woman, and I don't even bother at that point because I don't want to bother a lady, you know. But it's not about having game. You just talk to a woman. Just talk to a woman. Be yourself. Be confident in who you are, and don't be a dick. Confident, not cocky.
Right. There's a huge difference. Major difference.
Show her you believe in yourself, and she'll believe in you too.
Oh, I've also found this is something I got from watching the Dick Show. The quickest way to get a woman's attention: ask her about her shoes.
If you ask me about my shoes, they're just some cheap crap from Walmart.
I've never seen. I'll tell you, Ava, I've never seen it miss every time I've used it.
A lot of girls are into shoes, and if I do see a pretty pair, I am pretty happy about it too, and wish I had them. But yeah, I'm more of a flats and tennis shoes kind of person that are skate shoes.
Yeah, I don't like heels and stuff either.
They're uncomfortable, man.
Yeah, I unfortunately do not have the legs for heels, unfortunately.
I mean, I do, but they hurt my feet.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so we know what exactly are you doing with like a little girl lethal there, Troy?
So I'm just waiting on a script, but I'm gonna be working on a 10-page extra for Slick Jimmy, which is gonna go along. I think the stretch goal was hit like a week ago, I think, maybe even. So it's a definite, and I'm just adding along with the sweet package that's going on.
So I didn't even give you an idea of what you were gonna be sketching out.
To an extent, but I believe it was just something that that kind of just kind of came to him very recently. So I believe he has to do his proper slick thing, and
So he's still fleshing it out then.
you know what I mean. Like I know he has a full complete concept. He's just actually doing what makes him that damn good.
That is true. That is true. I mean, like,
and I've worked with enough writers to say that I think the best team ups are when both writer and artist give each other that mutual space to create. You get the best work. Every time I work with a writer, I just like to let them do their thing. You know what I mean? So that when I get that script, it's just like, ooh, and vice versa. Whenever I'm given the chance to just do my thing, I usually come back with very, very, very good results.
Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about because I do the same thing with my art team, Victor and Ginger. I just tell them what I want, but I more or less just let them do their thing, and I kind of trust them that they know what they're doing because, well, I mean, I know I can write well, but I know what I can and can't do, and I know they can do the whole art thing better than I can. It's just they know, so I just trust them. I don't, and they are good. Like they so far have yet to turn in something that disappoints me.
Right. I mean, I try my best not to disappoint. Actually, I pride myself on when I'm commissioned. I give you full respect of being my boss, and I let the artist pretty much completely direct me on what I'm doing. I believe in you know what I mean, good work ethic. If you're being hired to draw, just shut up and give that person what they want because this is their dream and this is their baby, and make it look pretty because they're paying you.
Oh yeah. I mean, like that's what I heard Dan say about you. Is I mean, I'll say this. Troy, you're a guy I cannot afford at this moment, but your work speaks for itself.
Hi.
Thank you.
There's Vile.
Hey,
Hi.
what's up?
Hey, Val.
Hey, sorry, I keep I really don't mean to sarg on y'all every single time. I'm just horribly unprofessional at this. So I'll just keep repeating the same jokes every time I'm late. What I miss, fellas and lady?
Right now, Troy's actually been talking a lot mostly, but hey, it's cool because we got a lot told about Wampool and
yeah, you can tell me to shut up whenever.
No.
I don't know. I really don't mind.
That's you know what? I was about to make a joke, but I don't want to get your channel in trouble, so I'll hold out on that.
Well, technically, it's not my channel; it's Dan's because it's because, like I said, my channel is under a community guideline strike.
Really? What for?
What happened?
It's the fucking weirdest thing. So I had an old episode of my podcast, which was about song parodies. It got flagged. I checked the email that YouTube sends me. Enzia. They don't even tell me what it got flagged for.
Yeah, that's what they do. They don't tell you what it's for. They just do it and they keep it super vague.
I mean, I tried appealing it, but that was like, let me think. That happened. That happened over
a couple of months.
It happened when we were doing the pilot episode of Go to the Wicked podcast. It was back in October, actually.
Man, you need to get back on them about it.
I'm kind of at the, like I said, I appealed it, but nothing's happened. So I'm at this point where I'm just waiting for the clock to run out.
So like, if say some certain words.
I don't even remember, like, because that, like I said, that episode. I think I did that episode like over it was like over a year or two ago. I don't even remember what was in it. Except that I was talking about song parodies.
You got flagged for like 2-year-old video.
Yeah, that's. And like I said, it was about song parodies, and I don't think there were. I can definitely say what was not in it. I know for a fact there was. Like, I did not use like any copyrighted material in it.
Those. Well, I mean, was it a flag or was it? I mean, was it a DMCA or was it?
Not a DMCA, a community guideline strike.
A guideline strike. Do you have? Well, what did you say? Were you making fun of zoophiles?
How am I supposed to remember? It was I did that episode like over a year or two ago.
Oh well, see, that's the big problem with YouTube. You know, at least with Twitter, they let you know why you get banned every single time it happens.
Oh yeah, so yeah, like the time I got put in Twitter jail because you guys are gonna laugh at this. Okay, so there's an account I follow called Frozen Binary Dev, a transsexual programmer whom I follow only because she's funny.
Uh-huh.
So,
hey, dude, you can follow whoever you want.
Here's how it goes.
And I say that sincerely, dude. I follow whoever I want. I follow plenty of different people. Go for it, own it.
Yeah. So here's how it goes. So here's the thing. Everyone knows how recently Twitter amended their terms of service that misgendering and dead naming can now be bannable offenses.
Yeah, I did see that.
I'm gonna be banned again so quick.
Well, okay. Here's where it gets. Chelsea, here's where it gets funny. Frozen has an axe to grind with TERFs. If you don't know what that is, that stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists. Basically, feminists who don't like trannies.
Yo,
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yo, but
I mean, those
actually,
are the.
You know what? I got no comments. Go on.
No.
Yeah.
Those are the more logical ones, actually, if you ask me. But what do I know?
All I want to say is there's more logic to their philosophy. I'm not saying whether I agree with their philosophy or not.
Oh, don't ride the fence.
You know what I mean? Seriously. I have no nothing in this fight. I gained nothing by taking any side.
I honestly, I don't follow.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm a dude. Yeah. I really don't care what happens between women and transgender women. I'm a man.
Okay, so yeah. All right, so yeah,
okay, I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to get you in any more trouble. Go ahead.
I mean, that's literally my own.
No, not you. I didn't want to get Brett's channel in any more.
It's not my channel, Violet's Dan's.
Yeah.
Oh, even more reason not to. Never mind. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? I feel like they make a more logical case if one had to listen to cases, but I don't know. I really couldn't care less, but I do want to hear the rest of the story.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Frozen has had an axe to grind with TERFs for quite some time, and she puts out a tweet saying, "I warned them this day has come, and now it has." So she's basically going on a mass flagging campaign taking on TERFs. So me, I ask her, okay, do you have a list of names, and is it long? She says, yes and yes. And just because I feel like being funny again, I tweet back, supposed to be a take on Santa Claus is coming to town. Making a list, checked it twice, gonna put all them TERFs on ice, Frozen Dev is flagging you down. And that was the tweet that got flagged.
Who flagged you? Was it her? Him?
No, because Frozen liked it. Frozen has a twisted sense of humor, but a sense of humor nonetheless.
How is that flaggable? I mean, that was nothing about saying the wrong pronoun.
Yeah, that was actually pretty milquetoast. I can't believe you got. You got flagged for that.
I got flagged by someone who doesn't have a sense of humor.
But that's still crazy. You know, yesterday my good friend, who isn't me, on Twitter just called Linkara a nasty cock slut, and nothing came of it.
Yeah,
So
because of some
like,
people
that's
can
just-
have humor and they don't care. You know,
Oh,
something
Linkara
is for
cares.
people that it's for people that that have like a big agenda, and then they don't like it that someone actually just stated the fact that because you were being funny. That was a funny, comment back, and it was the truth, what she was planning on doing, and she's like, nope, no thanks, and just like flags it, and that's really shitty.
So like, I just want to know, because I'm a slightly competitive person when it comes to things that don't matter. How many times have each of y'all been banned from Twitter, and why?
0.
Zero, but hopefully, I mean, I guess I'm just careful in some manners, for at least I am careful with pronouns. But you didn't even use pronouns, like wasn't even anything like that, and then someone was just a jerk. So I mean, anything can happen, honestly, to anyone, especially when in this game.
Someone's just being a humorless bitch is all.
Yeah, that's right, humorous bitch.
So,
Dude, that's a lot of them, right?
Just being bitch made.
let's see. So, I mean, that ain't so bad. Let me see here. I had written it down. I think I got banned like 5 times already.
So wait, how long does the ban last?
Depends on what you say.
I was in Twitter jail for like 12 hours.
Yeah, I got one 12-hour ban once. And that's all it's for me to learn the rules and get around them.
Yeah, I don't even know how much of getting around there is. I mean, there's a basis, but it doesn't exactly mean anything if you think about it, because if someone just doesn't like you enough, they'll just claim it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, sometimes, I don't know. I guess I just, you know what? I'm just realizing I never really bothered to look at the rules for it. My good friend got permabanned after he called Eric Larson a brain dead, retarded monkey that had been beaten in the head with a hammer at birth. He got
banned for that?
Yeah,
That's a lot.
My good friend, my very good friend. That was the 3rd time. The first time was after he told a pedophile to commit suicide.
Okay,
and the
I mean,
first
that's
time,
pretty far with that one, even if it's like, he shouldn't tell someone to commit suicide.
No, he was an open pedophile. He keeps has no regret over that. And then the first time he was just trying to get an SJW angry, so he just started screeching racial epithets, every single one that he could think of.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Pedos, if you ask me, they should be drawn and quartered. But holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're going to be an open pedo on Twitter,
that's fucked up, man.
Like, the only thing you can do if, like, I'm feeling spicy tonight, but I don't want to get this channel in trouble, so I'm trying to tread carefully here. But if you're an open pedo on Twitter, these virtuous pedophiles, as they like to call themselves, I've always been under the opinion that if you are truly a virtuous pedophile, the most virtuous thing you could possibly do is throw yourself off a bridge. Like, that's really the most virtuous thing you can do. So,
how can someone be so open about something that's so disgusting?
Because they think that that society's progressed so far that pedophilia is just another sexuality.
Well, they're still going further with it. There's a guy that who's just an open zoophile on Twitter right now, who's trying to add a Z to the end of the list of letters that they've got going now, and he's like going on about it tonight on Twitter. It's really enough to make you cynical if
Disgust?
you think too much time
There
about
was
it.
one
Yeah.
guy.
Yep.
There was one guy I worked with. He was a little bit more to the left than I was. But he did a he the where he drew the line when it came to sex was that the only two things he said should not be on the table would be non-consensual and kids.
Yeah, you definitely need it to be consensual, and children should not be part of it for sure.
Yeah, well, I had I mean, it's just great. The left is going. I don't see how anyone in their right mind could even consider themselves vaguely left in this day and age. I mean, the left has gone absolutely insane. When you've reached the point to where you're saying that kids, and I know at least one of y'all has kids, so I'm sure you feel even more strongly about it than I do. But when you start saying that kids can be trannies and things like that, you've just gone too far. You know, did y'all see that thing on Netflix? Netflix where
I don't know what you're talking about.
they supposedly have under it. It was a tricky little thing someone else pointed out to me. It was getting all the news about on Netflix having full frontal underage nudity in it, and yeah, and it was of a girl without a shirt. But then come to find out that that was actually the trick, because the girl was actually a transsexual, was actually a tranny, 14 years old or something like that. So, like, no matter how you look at it, it's either them like they're still sneaking it in. Either they're sneaking in pedophilia, or they're sneaking in the idea that kids can be trannies, and it's real insidious what's going on right now. But
Right. I would probably say, hey, so does Dan usually talk about this stuff on his channel?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what Dan usually. Dan's stuff is usually more towards making comic book reviews and some stuff related to Molly Beans. Nah.
Yeah, I would say, like, I love that. We could definitely find a time to talk about it, but I mean, just for the sake that it's Dan's channel, we should probably keep it to comic books and stuff.
Probably, yeah. I would have.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I just came off of Twitter, and that's what was going on.
Yeah,
Speaking of comics,
don't worry, guys. Dad's here. Don't worry.
I'm taking Troy's side on this. Thank you.
Yeah, apologies. I literally was just coming off of that when I joined the stream. So. But speaking of comics, y'all digging the new Avi Troy drew for me?
Really?
Team Wampool, baby.
Yeah, boy.
Well, this is the man behind the lore to the source.
Yep.
I came up with a concept, and he basically gave it logic and a reason for being.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. He just threw this my way recently, so I'm kind of happy to show it off a little bit. I think that actually looks better than the original, man. So just I don't know where I'm going with this. I just want to show off my the new thing that he drew up for me. So,
which is definitely cool. Speaking of which, I also got a little something that I got a little holiday themed commission that I've got Victor and Ginger working on. It is.
Oh yeah.
I'm not. Matt's seen it, but I'm not. I want everyone to be surprised. Let's just say it's cute, and and it's festive. That's all I want to say at this point.
And completely not asking to be bastardized in any way possible.
I swear, Matt.
Yeah, I was starting to wonder where you were, Matt.
Oh, I'm here. Just waiting for the right moment.
Matt, we agreed not to give people ideas.
Look, you're the one who goes off and gives them ideas.
Oh.
This is all because of a thing that Ginger's boyfriend Zeno did. So the story behind this is I it's more Maeve fan art, which I haven't gotten any bad fan art at that point. So I just say to myself, show me bad Maeve fan art, and I'll eat my hat. And so Zeno pops in the thread and says, "Challenge accepted," and it's like, uh-oh. And I don't know if you guys were watching my Twitter the other day, but he did, and he posted this picture of me that was just absolutely grotesque.
So how was that hat?
I couldn't even really bite into it. Oh my god, it was just that just wasn't. My god, it was not it just having to go through that. It was. I don't want to say it wasn't fun. It was more like I had to learn another lesson. Do not
Twitter.
Do not present challenges on Twitter because someone will take it up.
Mm-hmm. You're lucky I didn't see it.
Oh god, you would have done it, wouldn't you?
More than likely.
You would have had 2 by then.
Why? Why would you do that, Troy?
I have a very wicked mind, and believe it or not, every so often I say fuck it and I use my powers for evil.
Oh
Anyways.
yeah, no kidding.
If I could draw, I'd do the same thing.
Sometimes it's just fun.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you. I think I did ask you, but I'll still ask again. You remember when I had you draw necrosis, and I asked you to give him a wound that looked like he got shot in the eye?
Yeah.
And you responded with your reference material.
With a picture of a wound with a picture of what happens when
that dude's head blown out.
Yeah. He's still alive too. That's cool, right?
Oh, for real? Oh god!
Yeah.
You know, I nearly puked. Were you laughing when you sent that? Because I nearly puked when I saw that thing, man.
No, I was actually like legitimately trying to ask you if it was something. Because the thing is, it was like one of those like, are you sure you wanted a wound like that? Because this is what a wound looks like. It was more like an informative.
Yeah, that was I told my brother about that, and he started laughing his ass off. He was like, "Man," because he was saying I would have been laughing if that were me. That was the most horrific thing I had ever seen in my life. So I do not. Yeah, I do not envy the things you artists have to do just to be accurate sometimes.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. I just like that kind of accuracy.
Yeah, but I've heard of other artists doing that same sort of thing. So
speaking of horrific, how about we talk about that X-23 where you kind of like that Ava covered in her first video.
It was really, really shitty comic.
Yeah, and it was so awful that you got the idea that
to nibble on it.
I almost feel like that was a take on something Yellow Flash would do.
I could see him doing that. He's also gone to like a car wash and sprayed down the comics and let them just separate from the staples. Yeah, no, it was pretty poorly written and awkward for some of the drawing, but honestly, it was very bubblegum kind of writing that it's not anything I wanted to ever read as a 29-year-old woman.
Here's something I gotta. Have you ever managed to cover like anything that was actually good on your channel yet?
I've just done like some live streams with my husband and talked a little bit about. I don't know if you guys have read anything with Marvel Knights recently, but that's been pretty good so far.
No, but I think now might be a pretty good time to mention if Matt's listening. I don't know if
I'm here.
Y'all were aware of I had pitched the idea to Twitter the other day to gauge how people's reactions would be, and it seemed to be pretty positive. And so Matt and I went to Matt, and we're going to be actually collaborating on a little project. I say little, but all my projects start out little. But we're going to be working. Yeah, but and because the idea is so young, but people seem to really like the concept, and I've been excited for it, thinking about it a lot lately. So I went to Matt to sort of help speed along the process. So I guess officially now it'll be announcing that he and I are going to be working on a project, writing a comic together. So a little horror-based comic about a red fog that comes down, and it's got horrors in it. And it comes down, it's like one of those apocalyptic style stories, but instead of focusing on like a middle class people or something like that, I've always wondered how people who were actually prepared for an apocalyptic event would survive in that. So it's going to focus on this family, this millionaire family with a family patriarch who was this just doomsday prepper, this Kentucky family that made their millions in coal. I'm sorry, and the father was a war vet who was a doomsday prepper, and so he had built this massive, he built basically a castle, and beneath that, this massive, almost self-sufficient bomb shelter beneath it. And I really wanted to, and it's going to focus mainly on them surviving and trying to focus on how they'd be living in that sort of event, while also dealing with the overarching story of the red fog itself. So I turned to Matt to help me out with that. So we're going to be working on that project together.
Oh, that does sound cool.
Hey guys, well, I'm sorry to interrupt for a second. I haven't eaten in quite a few hours now. I'm gonna dip out. I gotta get some dinner before I head out to bed.
Hey, that's fine, Ava. Thanks for coming on, though.
Yeah, thank you guys for inviting me. Have a great night, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you too. Bye, Ava.
Bye.
So
Well, now it's a guys hangout until Ginger shows up.
But yeah. So all we need now, we're gonna start hammering out the details of the overarching story and the characters and everything. And in the meantime, I am still, I'm going to put word out here too. I'm still looking for an artist. So someone who's preferably proficient in horror.
I know MPX Comics is definitely works in that kind of style.
MPX Comics. It seems like I was looking at him the other day, but I decided not to message him for some reason. I'm going to mute while I go. Is it okay if I mute while I go check him out real quick?
That's fine.
All right.
Okay, is Troy muted because he's AFK?
Yeah,
There you are, dude. Yeah, so Ava walked away, so now it's just us guys until Ginger shows up.
Oh, this is a sausage fest.
You say that like it's
Pretty
a bad
much.
thing.
Oh man.
I'm out.
So Matt, here's something. I know I intend to Changeling for like a young adult audience, but it almost seems like I'm trying to also reach like a kind of a younger audience. And it's because like Brian has said this is a book that Liz could give to her girls. And I think both her girls, like neither of them is like above age 10, I think. Like they're both very young, I think. Aren't they?
They probably they seem that way. No more than 6, 7.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, can you give like a 6 or 7-year-old girl a book where Maeve gets slashed across the face by is playing a monster and then has a dagger go right through her body. It doesn't cut her, but it's like that's kind of intense.
Well,
no, come on now. You go back to the 80s. There was I can never remember the name of the movie, but there was a PG-13 rated movie where there used to be back in like the 80s and PG-13 movies that had full frontal nudity and had dragons eating people's feet off. Very graphic stuff.
Dragon Slayer?
I think that was it. And then I think Red Dawn had like just straight up executions in it and such. Kids, I think they're not so sensitive. Let her see the person getting stabbed. She'll be all right.
Also, look at how comics were in the 90s.
I don't know. I mean, like, Troy, you saw the pages that Victor finished, right?
Yeah, they look tight.
Okay, how old is your daughter?
5.
Is that something you'd be okay with her reading?
To be honest, I really, I'm not like, I don't know. I'm kind of like overprotective with what she like sees, because my kid's kind of like a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep her. I don't know. I'd have to. You know what? I know the correct answer. I would have to let. I'd have to let her mom decide that. I remember the correct answer now.
Spoken like a true father.
I'd have to ask her mom.
And I guess it's a question of whether or not her mom would say yes. But I think we can probably guess.
I mean, my guess would be she says no just because I suggested it. She'd be like, no. Be like, oh, do you like it? And I would look at her and I'd get a little sweat drop on the side of my head. And I'd be like, I don't know what the right answer is.
Holy fuck. When did I just reloaded the video and it's like Midnight Sherry and Bean from Pennsylvania were in the chat the whole time? I did not notice this. And oh, there you are, Matt.
Oh, hey.
I apologize for ignoring them.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Matt, is your camera on?
It was.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, I mean, I guess on the one hand, if you're a parent and you think your kids can handle changeling, I mean, I kind of got to make my way to keep it from being too graphic. I mean, like, there's only so much violence I think I can reasonably show.
I don't know. I guess it's just just because I was a kid, I don't know. I guess because just when I was a kid, I used to watch stuff that like a lot of parents would not let their kids watch, and I turned out reasonably all right, and so did my brother. I mean, we weren't watching like Evil Dead, but we were watching Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Aliens. I watched it before I think I was like 9 or 10, and like it sucked because this was back in the day when you had when VCRs were still the dominant form, and so it came in. The movie came, and because it was a made-for-TV movie, it had 2 cassette tapes, the first half and the second.
Oh yeah, it was the miniseries.
Yeah, and as a kid, I never saw the second half. So as far as I was concerned, it ended with the guy cutting his wrist and writing "it" in blood on the shower wall, and I thought that's how the movie ended. So I thought that Pennywise was still out there. So I was up for like a week straight from that movie because I never knew that it ended with him actually getting killed. Spoilers. So
well, apparently he's not dead in more recent Stephen King novels. So
they didn't kill him in the new one.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
The new one ends. I've seen it. It was a disappointment. Tim
I
Curry
figured it was going to be.
Tim Curry was
Which
the best Pennywise,
Oh,
but it only dealt with the 80s, but when the main characters were kids.
I don't know. I gave up on all Stephen King movies after seeing what they had done to the Dark Tower. Like I just couldn't believe, because I had read through that entire series in 1 year when I was 15 years old, and then they go and they make that movie. They make that abomination of a movie, and ever since then I've been really, really salty about all that. So I don't watch any Stephen King movies anymore, ever.
Not even The
And-
Shining.
Well, which one?
With Jack Nicholson.
Actually, I don't know. I think that used to scare me as a kid. I watched that when I was a little kid too. I watched that before I think I was like 12. But now that I'm older, I don't know. I think it might be a bit overrated as a horror movie. And I don't watch any Kubrick films anymore either, because he was. I don't want to give any money to the estate that was built by some weirdo freak. I know you're supposed to separate artists from artists, but there's a line where that doesn't apply anymore. So, but no, I don't watch The Shining. I don't watch any Stephen King movie anymore, just because of that. And I don't know. I don't want to take up the whole live stream ranting about this. I have it. I can do that if
I heard Stephen King had fun directing Maximum Overdrive. Like, that's fun if you can turn your brain off.
Yeah, but like, I don't think that's a very good argument. Like, I have to not think to be able to enjoy.
Wow, the
this
movie's scored by AC/DC. How serious do you think you're supposed to take it?
I mean, fair enough. I remember the Green Goblin truck, and that thing was awesome.
Well, Stephen King says that a Stephen King movie done right.
Oh, you know what? What I just said ain't true, because I did just watch Creepshow 1 and 2 about a week or two ago. And that got me wanting to do a collaboration with a bunch of artists and writers on Twitter to do an old style. I think I tagged you in this, Troy and Matt.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to do one of those old school Tales from the Crypt style.
Oh yeah, like anthologies.
Comics. Yeah.
They don't. Do they still do those today? Because like I don't think I've seen like a real anthology comic put out in like years.
Yeah. I don't think I've never seen one at my local comic shop, now that I think about it. And that might just be because I might have just went over it or something, but I don't think I've ever seen one, much less a horror anthology. But I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you keep going.
Yeah, but no, I was just thinking it would be, I just thought if I could do that, if I could get the money together to do a project like that, it would be so much fun. I already had like a similar premise that I was going to do by myself from when I was a teenager, and I could bring back the frame. What's it called? The wraparound segments for that, and then have an individual writer and artist team to do several stories all on their own with complete artistic control. I would love to be able to do something like that, but it just getting all those people together, it would take so much organization that I couldn't do it alone.
Yes, that's kind of something I would like to do a Changeling, like assuming it gets big enough. What I kind of want to do is sort of do like anthology specials where I let like people who I have a tier for that. Yeah, if you sign up for like the graduate tier, which is like $20 a month, then you can submit an entry for an anthology special, which would be like, I'm thinking like what, 5, 6, maybe 10-page stories. That's like a good size, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds all right to me. But
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, like just like get like a fan artists and writers to put in their own stories, and fuck, who knows?
oh,
Maybe that's how a new talent gets discovered.
well, yeah, that'd be great. Why am I thinking something like that had been done before? Maybe it hasn't, but yeah, I think that'd be great. Have some fans send in some stuff like that. And like, not only is it a great way to find talent, man, but just like that'd be a great way to build your audience too, man.
Yeah.
Because you'll have like you got that audience interaction, and then you'll have people who are wanting to you know, get their name out there. That's, you know, you can do it.
I mean, like,
go for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, Troy, do we have any? Did you have anything planned for Wampo like beyond 3 issues? I think.
Yes. After the 3, because it's not 3 issues, it's 3 parts. It's one complete story. I just broke it down into 3 parts so that I didn't go insane trying to do the whole thing at once. That's going to be his complete origin story. From there, then I'm going to begin to try and get an actual monthly going. But right after the origin, I'm actually going to take a break from Wampool for a bit, because where the origin ends, the next start actually picks up in Rags vs. Wampool.
Oh yeah, that's like, yeah. Brian's been wanting to get that done for like quite a while.
I mean, I mean, we both have stories we need to tell. You know what I mean? In order to get everybody in the right position for that story to flow cohesively.
Yeah,
that's where it's gonna go, and then from there on in, I'm gonna take over Regina for a while.
Well, of course, I've also got Regina too, because like after Revengers, she's gonna move over to Aberdeen and be the resource officer at Maeve's school.
Yeah, so pretty much, basically the way I see it and I foresee it, I'm going to have Regina all the way until Revengers, and that's where I would hand her off.
I am cool with that, because like I did not see Regina jumping into Changeling up until like I think volume 2, and that was assuming I even get that far. Because,
well, I mean, just the way I see it, there's certain things that Brian wants me to focus on with Regina. So I'm gonna be working with them as a duo. Actually, dude, they're for as odd as they look together, they're actually a pretty fucking sick team when they fight.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can attest to how well Brian and Trent work together.
You know, they're pretty sick as far as the team goes, and I don't know, they're one of those very rare team ups where you can legitimately say they complete where the other one is lacking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
You know, in more ways than one.
Yeah. I'm probably going to be it's probably going to be after I get my hands on Regina, I'm probably going to be pestering Brian for a while just to make sure I'm handling Regina right up until I start really getting the feel for myself, and then he's probably gonna be like, okay, what's he got this time? And it's like, he didn't fit. Brett didn't message me today.
You start to learn her. You do start to learn her.
Yeah.
After a while, you start to get Regina.
Yeah, and then he's like, he didn't message me today.
Well, I think you're going to be the least likely pest for him to kill. simply because there's so many of them on the Discord now.
Oh yeah, there was that guy.
Yep.
Oh, that. Yeah, Matt and I know Matt knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Let's just say Brian. There was a guy who was an absolute dumbass on the Rags Discord, and he went and did a dumbass thing.
I'd have to say
Dumbasses do dumbass things.
I'd have to say if I wasn't so certain that he was a kid, I'd say that was probably not so much dumb as it was possibly malicious.
What? I'm sorry. What happened on the Rags Discord?
Well, basically, Brett, do you think we should talk about?
Does that count as leaking?
Maybe.
Because that, I don't know. I mean, like, because
leaking no es bueno.
I'll just explain it to you in DMs file.
Oh man, gonna tease me like that. All right, fine.
Hey,
All right,
you know, we got to remember, gentlemen, this ain't our channel.
Also true. Also true.
I know. It's it's very difficult.
You can say whatever you want on your own, and if you want to invite me, I'll probably have a lot more of an opinion. But as far as everything else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like the last thing Dane needs is me getting a strike on his channel because we act like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to start doing streams myself, but I know I'll get banned in the first if I don't have anything to rein me in, like being someone else's channel or something. I'll be banned so quick. I'll be deleted and nuked from orbit. I know that'll happen.
I don't know. Andy Horsky's still on.
Yeah, but but that's by some weird Canadian miracle. I don't know how he's still on. He says the most.
He got Andy Worsky money, son. That's because he got that Andy Worsky money.
It's because he's on meth.
Oh my freaking god! I was like, that is just too fucking good.
I think it's because he'll go straight. Oh, you know what? I can't make that joke either because they had the shooting at YouTube a little while ago. See, this is what I mean. I'll get someone in trouble, so I end up being quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, how about with where Charger's concerned? Do you have an idea where that's going at this point? I mean, Troy. I mean, like I know you said it's only been like a month, but
I believe he's trying to make it an actual ongoing series. And as long as the people want to keep seeing it, I'm going to keep drawing it for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm having a good amount of fun, and it's actually a pretty good story too. You know what I mean? Like I like it.
Yeah, maybe, I dig it too. I mean, like Wes put up an Indiegogo for it, didn't he?
Yeah, we're in the middle of it right now.
How's it doing so far?
Well, let me go check. Let me do some
Maybe
checking.
we should put a link in the description.
Yeah, we should.
So let's take a look.
And now we have summoned the spirit of dead air, Matt.
Right.
Yep.
I'll just keep. I'll keep my my illustriously deep voice going in the meantime. As I look.
You can't. I don't think Troy can do the red man. I don't think Troy can do the red van voice, Matt.
No.
We are at 425 out of the total 5,000 goal.
Yeah. So
23 backers.
How much time has it got left?
We still got 2 months left.
All right. So.
DM me a link to that, Marvel. 2 months, you said?
Yeah.
DM me a link. I'll look into it. I think I should have something. I think I should have something by then. But yeah, send me a DM on Twitter with the link to it.
Will do.
You know, with what I'm paying with Victor and Ginger, I think I can afford to go the Patreon model.
Yeah,
Me
actually,
right now, I'm just gonna straight keep. As far as Wampu goes, I'm just gonna keep producing it and putting it out digitally until I have the book, and at that point, when it's a complete story, then I'll think about my next move on how to get it printed in actual print.
Trade paperback.
Mm-hmm.
Not tight with a special cover and everything.
Well, I mean, if everything goes the way I want, there's gonna be the official cover. I'm gonna do a variant, and then I'm actually gonna see if I can get like a special variant from somebody. I don't know how I'll pull it off, but I don't know. I'm gonna try. There's someone in particular I really want to see if I can get a variant from. It's a long shot, and I doubt I'll ever get it, but I'm gonna try first.
Is it Jim Lee?
No.
You think any of us could afford Jim Lee?
Well, I don't know. He's building it up, man. May as well start high. I'm actually though, like, I'm actually glad that that gets brought up because I have been I've been wanting to let me get y'all's advice on it because I've been struggling to figure it out. This you know just about all my stories currently, the one I'm working on, Empyrean Skies now, for example, these are all very very long stories, and I've still not figured out how I'm going to get them funded in the long term. I mean, like, let's say, like, even if I were to somehow build up an audience to get the first issue funded, that would still only be the first issue, and there's a lot to it. And I thought maybe you think maybe the Patreon model would work or what? Because I can't do an Indiegogo for each issue because then I'd be running an Indiegogo like every month.
It honestly depends. I like the Patreon model because to me it's more sustainable long term. And where I'm at with Ginger and Victor, I mean, like, I can afford to hand them money to get a page or two done every month, and help with the hopes that, I mean, the plan that I have is I pay them to do pages, I put them out there, and that people see the pages and say, okay, I think I'm going to put money down on the Patreon so that more can get done and faster. That's like my thoughts. That's my thought process. Indiegogo, Matt seems to have a better handle on Indiegogo. What do you say, dude?
Basically, Indiegogo is the place to go if you want to do a project but don't have the funds for it on hand, or to get it done as fast as you need to.
It sounded like the Patreon might be a better option for me because that's really the biggest problem with all my stories is just how big they are. So, like, I would need a long-term means of financing everything. So
all I gotta say is, like, you go the Patreon model, it's gonna, like I said, it's not gonna be a sprint. That's a fucking marathon, dude. The only way you can really get it done quickly is if you're doing everything yourself, like, say, Troy is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunately not an option for me.
Yeah, and we can't all be the good writer and artist like Troy.
Yeah, so
we can't all be super talented like he is.
I kind of feel like someone's blushing in this chat.
Who, me?
Nah, it could be you.
No, not I.
He only blushes when there are feet on the screen.
This is true. No, I mean, no. I'll be honest, I don't, because that would mean that there's enough blood left to show up in my cheeks.
Bro.
Yeah.
So touche, touche, bro.
But so that would mean I don't know. I'm not very good on streams, fellas. So
Yeah, that's why. I mean, honestly, that's why I tend not to give people advice, because I don't really have good advice to give. Because I'll just, you know what I mean? Like when I want to get something new going, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write it, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pencil it, I'm gonna ink it, I'm gonna color it, and I'm gonna present it.
yeah,
That's why I never go for funding. I never do anything like that, because it just seems like for me personally, and this isn't and I'm only speaking from my point of view. It for me, it feels like I'm asking for something that I don't need.
Yeah, well, like I said, you're definitely the exception. You're the guy who can do it all.
yeah. You basically do it the manga way. You just sit down and do it yourself.
Although I don't think Troy works himself half to death like most manga artists do, though.
I kind of do.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, if he ain't doing, he needs to get to it, man. 4 hours of sleep a week. That's all you need, man. Get to
Brett.
it. I'm joking.
I'm drawing
Don't
right
do that.
now. I'm actually working on a commission right now for another campaign goal. I've done a lot of things for a lot of campaigns, and that's actually what I'm doing right now as I'm on the live chat. I'm multitasking.
Damn. Speaking of, actually, while we're on that subject, that thing that special thing, Troy, how's that coming along?
What special thing?
Oh, you know that we'll just say the tribute to Stan Lee.
I'm having a little trouble with it. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm having a little trouble with it. I'd rather not speak publicly why I'm having trouble with it, but I have been having some trouble with it. It is actually a very, very ambitious project. And it's very difficult. You know what I mean? Like there's things I take on, and I forget that certain things I can do in the time of a week, and then there's other things that if I don't stretch it out, it just becomes ruined and messy.
All right, say it. So this thing, okay. So I'm not even gonna bother asking if you have an idea of when this is gonna be finished.
I mean,
then.
it's gonna be one of those. I have to clean up the way I do the concept.
I will accept. I'll accept that it'll be done when it's done.
Or that, yeah. I just hate saying things like that because that's rude.
Yeah, well, I mean, not if you're Linkara and you're talking about the Power Rangers.
Oh God.
Oh, I think I don't know if everybody got that one.
Oh, I did.
I didn't.
How long has it been since the last installment of the history of Power Rangers?
I dare look that up. Oh boy. Probably about the same amount of time as Spoonie's last video.
More than likely.
Can you believe I checked his? Sometimes I'll occasionally check his Patreon. He's still getting money.
Yeah.
I think last I checked, he was getting like 500.
I think people are hoping that he does something with it.
Yeah, I can't. I don't. Another thing I ought not to say, but let's just say I don't see this story ending well with him, and leave it at that.
I don't think anybody does.
487. It went down.
Well, maybe I can look forward to maybe I can look forward to the idea that I'll run a better Patreon than Spoonie. I mean, I already run a better Patreon than Bob Stone.
You know what? Actually, speaking of, I forgot where I was going with that. Sorry.
By the way, I just looked up. Linkara's last Power Rangers video was September last year.
Oh, yes, yep.
I had to. I, I stopped following him once he blocked me the first time, and then he had to. And because like the dude was saying the most insane things, I'll never forget that. So yeah. So now every time one of my many friends on Twitter happen to get the chance to, I kindly ask them to drop by and remind him of the virtues of bullying. So
Still though, I mean, I guess like if he put up a new Power Rangers video up last year, I guess it's okay. I guess he's still got some kind of work ethic.
to be fair, he actually does. Last I saw, he does put out stuff pretty regularly, pretty steadily.
Yeah, it's about that's about the only thing I think. About the only thing he's got going for him is that he has a good work ethic.
Yeah.
He's the anti-Spoonie.
True.
Yeah. But you know what? Actually, speaking of him, that actually reminds me. Adam and I were talking about his beautiful, beautiful comic book yesterday, and it got me to thinking, man, Troy, when are you going to get to that level, man?
Of what?
that level of just artwork that Linkara put out in his comic, The Lightbringer, man. It was
Troy, did you know about that?
Oh, when I die and reborn as him. I'll only ever achieve my greatness. I never try to strive to be anybody else.
Wait.
That's for people that.
Are you aware of Lightbringer?
I mean, no, I've seen it, but here's my answer. For as hot as it is, my goal is to be the best me, not to be as good as someone else.
That's a good philosophy, actually.
Yes.
Like I couldn't care less how good anyone else is. I'm still on my mission.
Yeah.
Like everybody else can stop and stare at that, and I keep running.
Yeah, it's like it reminds me of this.
That's my life journey.
It reminds me of this one.
Like I'm not the comic book fan that knows people's names, knows writers. No. I love comics. I like the stories. I like to read them. I like to see the art. But I'm about me. I'm about on my journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It reminds me of this one promo that Seth Rollins and Shawn Michaels cut like a few years back. Because what Seth Rollins is going on about how people are saying that I'm the new Shawn Michaels. And of course, HBK comes back saying, when I was starting out, it never occurred to me to be the second coming of anybody.
Right.
Yep.
Of course not. He's Shawn fucking Michaels.
Of course not. Yeah, and that's why I've never asked for anybody's approval. I've never kissed anyone's ass, and I never will. I do me. I've always just done me, and it's always worked fine for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't have the biggest of following, but it's all organically made on my own.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm with you there too. I've definitely taken the long route with Changeling, but every follower I've gained and every dollar I've gotten that Patreon, I actually feel like I earned it.
Right. Like it took a whole freaking year for Wampool to be liked and to be where it is now. But I did it on my own. No one had to push it. The only people that promoted it were actual readers and fans the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, JP is a very grassroots comic book, I think. And, just people, I remember when, or at least it seems like, was it really a year ago?
It's been a year.
Wow, man. I remember just when you were first showing off promo pieces of that on Twitter, man, and people were getting excited for that. Yeah, it's really, Oh, and by the way, slightly off topic. Troy, check the link in the side checks so that you can see just the beautiful. Because I really think you would appreciate.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure I will. I'll take a look at it. I just, like I said, right, I'm literally like
You're
I'm
in the middle
doing
of working.
on a.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see where what Vile's saying about Wanpool, because like, I mean, I don't know how much of an indicator this is, but I mean, I don't know if you guys follow Piper, but she's doing another poll for her doodle streams, and the choices are Maeve, Pulpfire, Spore Command, and Jack Irons, and right now, Maeve is in the lead with 105 votes.
There you go.
She's got the lead. Jack is like in second place behind her.
It's a good feeling, right?
Yeah, and she hasn't even been out for 6 months. I think I premiered her back in late July, early August. I don't think it's been 6 months for her.
Now here's one of the things that makes me happy. So the other day, Cody, the creator Jack Irons, he put up a poll, basically asking who is the sexiest indie male superhero between Jack Irons, Juanpool, Sporkman, and Aldrake. Son of a gun, Juanpool came in second, like by a lot.
Damn.
Like it wasn't a narrow second. It was like him and Jack Irons, and it, even when because I DM'd Cody and I was like, dude, that's nuts. And he's like, bro, they're not voting Juanpool. They're voting you. That makes sense. They're not voting for Juanpool to win. They're voting for Mr. Marvel to win. And that makes you feel good. You know what I mean? Like when you stop and think like, oh, wow, my character's going to win because people like me. And that's a good feeling.
Holy shit, I didn't think about that. I mean, like, I know people like me because people like to draw her. People think she's cute.
No, I think she is downright adorable, and I hope Spork don't get mad at me, but I voted her too.
I love it, man.
but that's because I haven't drawn her yet.
Oh boy.
Well, everyone who has drawn her has said that she was fun to draw.
I mean, she looks it.
Yeah.
She definitely looks it.
Yeah. I think it just has to do with the fact that we don't have a character like her or anywhere else. No one else is doing what I'm doing with Maeve.
Nope. Well, our greatest successes keep coming at the fact that we're putting out things that aren't already there.
Also, definitely true. Yeah, our stuff is
like SJW narratives. That's part of the problem. The other half is that it's boring shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I would take an exciting SJW character over the boring one. I would take an exciting XJW character over a boring old character.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong on that either. I mean, you look at Green Arrow. The guy's like, he's a straight up long history of being a leftist, and yet everybody loves him. So it's like that. You're not wrong. One of the biggest problems with that sort of thing is just like how badly written these characters are, and it just blows my mind to see just how truly awful these people are at writing just a vaguely compelling character. They're all the same character, and all of those characters are the writer.
Yeah, that's why they're so boring, because these people are using these characters as avatars for themselves, and they're not interesting people to begin with.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, you read, because even being an avatar for your own beliefs, that isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're not just such a. I guess I'll use a polite term. If you're not a bore, I mean, look at C.S. Lewis. You read any of his fictional works, and that is him. You can tell that's him talking through these characters. But if you read any of his books, you read the Space Trilogy, you read Narnia, they're still like they're classics for a reason, despite the fact that he's using them as avatars. So like it's really it wouldn't even be a problem that they're using them as avatars if they weren't such just terrible, boring, awful people. So and they just ruin everything they touch.
Yeah, no. I think I remember someone posting an interview with Christopher Priest, where he said, like, I don't know how long ago it was, but he caught on that Marvel was no longer hiring writers; they were casting them.
That's wow. That's
that's
spot
dead
on right
on.
there.
That is dead on.
Yeah. So, like, in other words, we have a black character. It should have be written by a black person.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so friggin' such a ridiculous idea.
And it's insulting. It's also what angers me is that the writers are so narcissistic and ready to be exalted. They don't see the insult in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's insulting. Like they picked you to make that character because you look like her. That's insulting.
Well, yeah, Troy, we know what you look like. You don't look a thing like one.
I don't.
I mean, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I get the idea that they're going for. It's just really badly executed. And the idea that they're going for is, say, let's use another medium for an example. Say you're making a movie, and say that movie you have an Irish character. Now, if you have the option, would you rather cast an Irish actor or have an authentic Irish actor, or would you rather get a Californian to put on a fake Irish accent? Now, 9 times out of 10, personally, I'm going to go for the Irish actor just for the sake of authenticity. The fact of the matter is, though, like they're just executing it really badly, though.
Well, that's kind of
what they're doing is they're not getting a good Irish actor. You know what I mean? They're not getting a good Irish actor. They're going to a random pub in Ireland and just kind of grabbing someone by the shirt and saying, "All right, you're Irish."
Yeah, that's what I mean by poor execution. If they were getting that excellent Irish actor, then that'd be a different story, But that's not what they're doing.
No. They're not getting that excellent black female writer to write Riri Williams. They're grabbing some random black chick whose background is in writing poetry.
Yep.
I guess they had to find some use for them gender studies degrees.
Although I hear that the Ironheart comic isn't bad at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I heard that too. That is actually a lot better than it was thought it was gonna be.
Well, I mean, like, to be fair, I mean, like, I know when Kevin Smith started writing Daredevil, Joe Quesada kind of had to talk him through how to do it, just because, well, writing movies and writing comics are two different things, no matter how much, even though they're kind of similar.
Oh, no, they are not. You're writing movies, you're telling actors what to do, as opposed to telling artists what to draw, such as when you're writing a script, you're seeing the characters move around. When you're writing a script for a comic, you're visualizing the scene and what the character is doing in that moment.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult, especially since like a lot of the most actually stuff in comics, you have to capture that moment, and those moments, so many of those moments are like so big. And you have to. It's a lot. I think it's a lot harder to get that, down and get that across than it is with actors. So I agree with you on that one, Matt.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess it kind of shows how much I know about writing movie scripts.
Which makes writing that changing script all the more impressive.
Yeah, because I don't know. I've written scripts for television and such before, and it's like Empyrean Skies wasn't always going to be a TV script, but it was always designed so that it could be one or the other, and I would decide later on what it was going to be. So I wrote a few television versions of it, and it's so I can tell you, like, just from doing both versions side by side, a comic is a lot harder to do, because with a script, all you basically got to write down is, the character. It's hard for me to put into words. The character X will does this, and then you leave the rest of that up to the actor. Whereas with the comic, you really have to work out the whole visuals yourself, or between you and the artist. You both, like, either way, it's not something that you can. I don't know if I'm making any sense here. I'm just sort of rambling. It's hard for me to put into words.
I kind of know what you're getting at. It's just like I have an idea of how it'll look in my head, but I sort of just have to kind of leave it in Victor's hands how he interprets that. And well, as Troy said, the pages are tight.
Yeah. There you go. That's exactly.
Troy, how about with you? I mean, like, do you just kind of start with the script ready to go, or do you just sort of like sketch it out yourself and sort of and have this?
No, I actually
and like sort of build the script around it.
I have a very unorthodox way of writing Wampool. I actually don't write it. I storyboard the whole thing out because I'm not a writer. So I literally just draw boxes with art, and I kind of scribble on the side notes of what I want to see going on, and I'll like scribble like possible dialogue idea or like the gist of what I want them saying. I'll then take those, and when I panel out a page, I'll break down the boxes, and I'll digitally size them out the way I want to see it laid out on the page. I'll consider those my pencils, and then I just start inking over that.
Yeah,
and
that
then
actually.
At the end, I tighten up the dialogue in post production, and that's where I tighten it up. And then even after that, before I send it to print, I have a QA guy that takes a look at it and further tightens up basically my grammar and my diction.
How's that compared to like working on Charger?
Humongously different, because he gives me an actual script with basically the panel suggestion with it. So I just got to go in and basically set up my panels and draw what it is that's going on.
Would you say it's a lot easier?
Yes and no. It's easier because it's already there laid out. It's more difficult because I have to send it out to him and have it okay.
Okay.
Whereas it's just I'm going through it. There is no okaying. The worst that's going to happen is a couple days later, I'm going to think of an addition to it and do it really quick right there on the spot.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, because I write my scripts really detailed just so I know that Victor can nail everything exactly how I want it, and it seems to have like there's a I wouldn't say there's a ton of content, but like I dumped like a whole novel into his lap. It's just more like I'm very particular about how facial expressions have to look. Luckily, Victor is really good with expressions.
For me, I've been trying to find out what works best with an artist. And artists, is gonna sound mean, but a good artist of like Troy's caliber or something is difficult to find. And I don't like to have any art that's any lower than that. So like I've been trying to find a balance as to whether how much details I want to put on each page for the artist, because I know when it comes to comics, like if you're doing a script for a TV, you don't have to worry about this as much. But when it comes to comics, like my experience personally has been like, don't give them too many details, because if you want the best work out of them, it's probably better not to constrain them. But at the same time, you can't give them nothing either. So I've been trying to find that balance of giving just enough details so that they feel free enough to put in their best work, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it does.
I know I know what you're talking about, and it's more like I try to give like Victor as much direction as I can, but it's more like I have to let him do his own thing, and it actually has paid off, because actually what's really cool about that is he's actually kind of gone off script and added things I would not have thought to do.
So
because in one of the pages, like he kind of added a couple panels. I did not tell him to put those in, but he kind of added them in anyway. And and it actually kind of it actually kind of improved that page, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I've been toying around with the idea lately of I don't know. Tell me, like I said, I've just been toying around with the idea of just writing, going from page to page and just writing, this is what needs to happen on this page, and then maybe letting the artist do the layouts. I don't know though if that would work or not. Like, I don't know, like Troy, you're an artist. Like, how do you prefer when you're working with a script? What kind of scripts do you prefer?
I prefer the script where the writer tells me the page layout, but lets me have basically artistic license to kind of do the same thing where let's say, on particular on a page on Charger, he had something written that was going to take 2 panels, but I had to come back and be like, no, that's 3 panels. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even going to budge. Like, this has to happen in 3 panels. And even then, I'm conceding, because this needs 4 fucking panels. You know what I mean? But I'm going to find a way to make it 3. And as long as the writer is willing to let me do that for the sake of the final product, I like kind of having the script basically, or I just want to be able to go in and draw.
Yeah. So that's basically been my biggest thing. Yeah. So that's basically what I'm trying to get at. Is my biggest thing is because, like I just said, like most of my stuff was initially like I had done comics before, but that was back when I still had some measure of artistic talent, so I didn't need to worry about all this stuff. But basically, though, what I've been struggling with is how much control is appropriate for each artist to give to each artist. So, like,
I mean, it's really going to come down to the artist, and like then this is where I risk sounding mean. The higher the caliber the artist, the higher your caliber of a writer, of your writer prestige. Not so much of your skills, but your prestige in what you've done. Because even the greatest writer, if he doesn't have anything published, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're working with someone that is a published artist and he's really good, you're going to have to concede a little bit more to them. And then vice versa. If you're a budding artist and an actual writer is like, hey, do you want to work with me? Just shut up and do what the writer says. So it's more of the concession goes to who's the more prestigious in the interaction.
Well, that's kind of how
neither should be a dick about it. Neither should be a dick about it. Yeah, like if you're the more prestigious, you shouldn't go in there like, oh well, I'm gonna need only green M&Ms in a bowl.
Or be like Van Halen, where they have to have all the brown M&Ms removed.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
I got
no, I
that
want all my
from
pay up front right now for the next 6 months. I reserve the right to not start drawing this for 6 months. You know, shit like that. Don't
Warning
concede to
sign.
things like that.
Yeah, those are warning signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know I actually saw a video where Eddie explained why they always had to have the brown M&Ms moved at their shows.
Why's that?
It's funny
Yeah.
because like back in the day, Eddie says like back in the day, the operation was a lot more cowboy. That was his words. Like setting up things was a lot more chaotic. And so just to make sure shit was getting done the way the band liked it, they put in the brown M&Ms, no brown M&Ms at our shows. And so they would just check the M&M bowls, and if there was no brown M&Ms in there, then they knew everything else got done how they wanted.
Well, that actually makes sense. Wait a minute, you said back in the day?
It's Van Halen.
Yeah, that's what I'm sitting here thinking. Were there even brown M&Ms back then?
Yeah.
Back in the 70s?
Yeah.
Well, because I remember when they were showing off Miss Chocolate or whatever.
No, they were just showing off that she was a girl.
Oh, is that all they were doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
That's what. But yeah, that's just what I was. That's just kind of what Troy's little thing was making me think of, was just like how, like they were like Van Halen was so particular about that bit because they knew that if the crew had done that one thing, then they did everything else right.
I mean,
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, but if you had a particularly prudent crew, then they would have just cleared out the brown M&Ms and left everything else in chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only checking the one thing.
Well, that's all they had to check. Because if they could get that one little thing, then they knew they got everything else right.
Well, I'm just saying, though, never mind. But, I didn't know that. That's really the only reason they were trotting her out a few years ago, just to show she was a girl?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
It was provocative. It was. Didn't you know she was kind of a bitch? She was kind of a hipster bitch. She was a feminine.
I thought she was supposed to.
The green M&M.
No, the green M&M was hot. She was gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
The brown one was gonna like shame the green one because she's prettier.
Also, the green M&M was voiced by Cree Summer.
Who?
Cree Summer? Dude, if you grew up watching cartoons in the 90s, you heard her.
I probably have, but I didn't memorize their names. I didn't even know Allison Court was with me throughout my entire childhood until like a year or two ago.
Let's see, what was she? She was in Rugrats. She was Susie. She was
Oh, Susie, I remember that. That was during that fad back then, which I guess is
Very
still going. Where
she does a lot of stuff.
I remember Susie. She was they brought her on during that time when literally like it was a mandate that every black character had to be a positive role model. I remember that. And then
Susie was.
I don't know.
I remember liking Susie.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to.
I didn't like Susie.
You didn't like Susie.
No, I didn't like Susie.
What was wrong? What'd she do? Why didn't you like
She's
Susie?
a little asshole.
You sure you're not confusing her with
Angelica.
I liked Angelica. And that was her foil. So, fuck that bitch. I like Angelica.
You know, that actually makes sense.
Speaking of M&Ms, here's something. I guess I'll still guide your ear on this, Troy. If you're gonna with that Maeve Rad Nem story, Maeve's been shy pretty much her whole life, so even having a babysitter like Rad Nem, she's probably gonna be like, I'm gonna hide under my bed and I'm gonna wait till you leave.
Well, I mean, I would have it be something funny to the extent of her powers just keep randomly showing up and helping her like hide and get away, and like, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna, like she's gonna kind of blink out and like fucking teleport to like the roof, and like she's trying to scale the side of a fucking apartment building to get up there, and she keeps getting phone calls, and she's like, I have it! I fucking have it! Bye! I'm sorry.
Here's something that would be really funny though, like, because this was something I wrote into Maeve. I wrote that Maeve likes sweets except for one. She hates M&Ms.
Oh, thank you. That's going to be what she probably offers her first to come out of the bed.
What does she think of Skittles?
No, there's a reason she hates M&Ms.
Really quickly to answer the Skittle thing, there's one time in history I will agree with Gail Simone. I want to punch whoever turned green Skittles into apple. Like, I want to punch him in the face. Why are green Skittles apple now instead of lime? That is the most disgusting thing. I used to like to, I would just shove handfuls of Skittles in my mouth and eat them as if I was still 5. Yes, I would do that in my 30s. And then the other day, I'm enjoying, or I think I'm about to enjoy a handful of Skittles, and goddamn apple taste just squirts throughout my mouth, and I'm like, that's like the worst candy besides watermelon. I hate watermelon candy.
All right. First off, I have a few problems with that. One, who hates apples? I
like the fruit.
Well, clearly not. You hate the candy. And they're both
it doesn't taste like an apple. It doesn't taste at all like an apple. What are you talking about?
I gotta agree with him. Like apple can't like.
Wait, but there are hundreds of thousands of different types of apples in the world. It might.
I like Red Delicious and only Red Delicious. Those are the only apples I like. They're humongous.
Granny Smith, not Fuji.
Nope.
Not
Red
Honey
Delicious.
Nope.
Red Delicious. Big, huge, crunchy. Oh, leave it in the fridge a couple days so it's cold.
You can't. Troy, you can't make apple pie with Red Delicious. You need Granny Smith.
Well, I mean, cool, you can do that, but I like to eat apples straight up. Like, that's how I enjoy apples.
I don't know. I gotta peel the skin off.
I actually quite enjoy them a lot. They're like I could probably be very happy if, you know what I mean? Like, my diet was heavily apple again. I need to do that.
Okay, so yeah. The reason why Maeve hates M&Ms though, it's because her middle name is Nora.
Nora.
Maeve Nora Mackenzie.
Get it? Her initial. She got picked on for it.
Oh God, that's some big brain. Though that she has some big brain, big brain bullies.
Hey, kids. Well, once they figured out what her initials were, it's not like it's hard for kids to come up with that.
Yeah, fair enough. It's still funnier to me that they came up with that than the actual.
Well, that's nothing compared to what I did to Jenny. Her best friend. She's this tall Korean girl.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote that she's always been tall for her age. If you're tall and Asian, there's only one nickname you're going to get stuck with.
Tall
Something
and
wrong?
Asian.
Godzilla.
Oh. Well, I mean, you could have gone with Gamera.
Yeah, but I think Godzilla is too mainstream. I'm more mainstream than Gamera.
Yeah, fair enough.
Doesn't even matter that she's not Japanese.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not. I disavow any jokes that come from that. So, but
I don't know. I would have named her Something Wong.
What?
Wait! Is that a take on that Asian kid from 16 Candles?
No.
16 Candles.
I can't tell the joke on
because to answer your question though, Vile, in 16 Candles there was this Asian exchange student who was staying at Molly Ringwald's place. His name was Lon Duck Long.
Oh. Wait. 16. No, I'm just trying to even remember. I never watched it.
I watched it.
Sounds like a
I
kid
watched it
flick
my
to
senior
me.
year of high school. I had a pop culture class, and we watched it when we got to the 80s.
What a waste of a class. Pop culture. A pop culture class. What's going on with schools, man?
I took it because I thought it sounded cool and
Oh.
easy.
You know what? You mentioned Molly Ringwald. All right, this is something I gotta say.
Uh-huh.
All right, like I've seen a lot of people, a lot of kids from the '80s. They really seem to like her, right? But her smile is all gum. Has anyone else noticed that?
There was different standards in the 80s.
No. This is not a standard in the 80s. No, like she only showed gum when she smiled. I remember that from The Stand. Does no one else know?
In the 80s, you didn't have to be 100% completely perfect 10 packaged made out of plastic.
No.
Enough to attract was okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't mind that. I'm just saying that
it
gum
came with
smile.
The package.
That
it came with the package.
No,
that's the thing.
No, then I would return it to sender because that is a deal
that's
breaker.
why we had more fun, and you younger guys are all like frustrated and angsty.
Yeah, well, that's frustrating.
Excuse me, I think
are the ones who gave
excuse
you
me, I had crush. I crushed on Debbie Harry. Okay,
she was hot.
Yeah. Anyone know that Debbie Harry started as a Playboy bunny?
I always live by the if I can be on a billboard and not be judged by anything, which I can't, I probably ain't gonna do the same thing as someone else because I'm bald and I'm 5'3". So yeah, I'll lick a hot girl's gums if that's all I see.
I am 5 foot. I'm 5'9", balding, and I got a ginger beard.
Yeah, I learned to stop like having an impossible standard because then you're just by yourself because usually like the hot perfect 10s are way more judgmental than you are towards them.
All right. We all need to take a step back here because I didn't say anything about hot perfect 10s. I just said there's this glaring, horrific flaw with Molly Ringwald that kills the rest of it. All right? That is what I was saying. All right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything about needing a hot perfect 10. Okay? But if you see a girl who has, the best body in the world, but her face is melted, you put a bag over it, don't you?
I don't know. I mean, back in the day, I probably would have smashed Molly Ringwald. She wasn't that bad looking.
I would have wrecked her.
Maybe I'm just surrounded by old men. Maybe that's.
I am 28. Thank you.
Oh. Well, I don't know. Then I guess you have an old person fetish. I don't know, man. It just.
No. Molly Ringwald now? No, thanks. But Molly Ringwald back then? Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, remember in the 80s?
No, Mike Whitaker. I
keep
can't
in mind,
stop thinking about the gums.
You're talking about an era. You're talking about an era where all the porn, it was straight bush. They were different standards there. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Different things were seen as acceptable as saying, yeah, no, that's what's up. You know what I mean? Where she wouldn't pass now. Young Molly Ringwald would not be a star anymore now.
No. Definitely
not. What I'm saying. It was a different standard of beauty.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Nowadays...
I would never touch them nasty chicks from the medieval times that had their hair pulled all the way back to the middle of their head. You know what I mean? And they were covered in powder and they were dying of disease. Yeah, but other guys killed other men to be able to bone them in private.
Yeah, nowadays you gotta be at least as hot as Scarlett Johansson.
No.
What era?
No. Today, I think.
All right, now look, you all. I'm just gonna say this now. You're all wrong. Okay, any woman who does not look as good as Olga Kurylenko just needs to be sent to the gulag. You ask me. All right, I'm putting it out there.
Don't know.
That's me saying that.
Do not know who Olga Kurylenkovich is.
She was the chick from the first Hitman movie.
I didn't see that movie.
Russian.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even remember that if I tried.
Okay. Okay, she was I think she was in a 007 movie.
Oh yeah.
She was from the Ukraine. Tan, black hair.
Huh.
She was also in the Max Payne movie.
Oh man, I didn't even see that. I didn't see that one either.
Yeah.
The one with Mark Wahlberg.
I know it existed. I just didn't see it.
I mean, I don't know. You know what? No, this is not. I cannot be criminal. So I'm gonna find. I will. Here, I am going to share her IMDb. Oh, that's not a good picture of her. That's a bad angle.
Although if Brian wasn't on this.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to automatically say no just to frustrate you. I'm going to automatically say...
All right, wait about... Okay. The 007 movie was Quantum of Solace.
Oh God, no! That one was bad, and then Spectre happened.
You know what? I've never seen a single 007 movie. I don't care. I'm talking about the chick in it.
I don't even remember. I barely remember Quantum of Solace.
You know what? I hate all of you people. How about that? Huh? Like.
You should see the. Oh please! You think you're the first person to hate me and Matt? You should see the.
Yeah, take a number, bro.
Yeah, really.
Honestly, you're not. Honestly, we've got. Let's just say Matt and I. We've made enemies. Dangerous enemies.
I've heard. I've heard stories. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done now. It's just like Okay, so fuck. Where was I going with that? Because the only thing I can remember is that I talked about that Maeve hates M&Ms because she used to get teased for it, because her initials are M&M.
There, side chat.
All right.
Yeah.
Loading. I'd smash it.
Yeah. That's a hard smash right there. Okay. And now I'm done. I have nothing more to say. I've proven myself to be right.
I mean, I didn't even look.
And I'm glad to see Mike here. I'm glad to see Mike Whitaker here actually saw Max Payne too. You're a good man, Mike. I'm sorry that I jumped on you about the gums thing.
I mean, not only did I not look, but I mean, would I smash it isn't really a good indication of if a girl's hot. You know what I mean? Because I've answered that to many pictures of many women. Just saying.
You're right about that.
You probably should have enticed him by saying you had a picture of her feet, Vile.
I think her feet are in that link. I think one of her pictures shows her feet.
Cool.
Let me see. No, they're just off screen. No, here we go. Right here in the last one, you can see her feet. She's wearing some high-heeled sandals or something.
Doesn't count.
Boring.
Doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds boring. Like, it would have to be she was doing something pornographic with another girl.
He just straight up said it.
I mean, just being honest.
Hey, if that's your thing. Oh shit! What time is it?
Clearly.
It's a little past 8:30 on my end.
Yeah,
I got 11:30.
it's actually like 11:30. I might have to start getting off.
Yeah, I gotta
That's,
start. I gotta set up my routes for work tomorrow and shower.
If you guys want to drop, okay. If you guys
I was,
want to
uh,
call
I
it,
was
go.
wanting
If
to
you guys want
wait.
to call it, then you can. Matt and I'll probably keep it going for a little while longer.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was wanting to wait till the other girl showed up, but
Ginger,
it's just
yeah,
getting
she was.
late. Yeah,
Ginger said she was walking her dog. Probably is not gonna be showing after all.
who goes walking their dogs at this time of night in the
She's
middle
in
of
the
the
UK.
woods?
Yep.
Who goes walking their dogs at this time of day in the middle of Islam?
Ooh, wrong channel.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We're
sorry.
trying not
They
to get
just no,
dance.
just everybody else disavows. That's me. Everybody
For
else
what-
disavows.
For the record, she's near Newcastle.
Yeah, but the joke doesn't work if she's. Everybody else disavows. That's me. YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, I disavow Vile. I disavow.
Everybody disavow Vile. Please go ahead, do it. But it's 11:35 though. For real, I gotta get ready. I gotta set up my routes for tomorrow, and then I got shower. I gotta wake up early. So I hate to cut out early, fellas.
It's
but,
fine.
Before I go, Brett, there was one thing I wanted to say. I've been putting a little more thought when I've had time because I've just been busy, real busy with this new job. But I've been putting some more thought into the story I pitched to you recently.
Uh-huh.
And I think I might have, you were asking where that Lovecraftian creature would come from. I think I'm zeroing in on maybe an idea for it. I don't want to bore everybody by talking about those stuff here, about all those details here, though. I do just want to say, though, I've got some ideas for it, and if there's any way that maybe I could get stay in contact with you as well as Matt, I've already got Matt on here.
Don't worry. Just hit up him or me, and then we'll.
Yeah. Yeah, so just letting you know, give you a little update on that. And now I'm going to have to check out. All right?
All right. Okay.
Thanks for bringing me on last minute, fellas. I appreciate it.
It's fine. Yeah, it's cool. It's all good.
Yep.
Easy, man. Yeah, I could stay on a couple more minutes before I get off.
Yeah, it's fine by me too.
Talk to you later, Vile.
Later, man. God bless y'all.
Take it easy, brother.
Bye.
Later.
Bye. Yeah, I got. That's something I gotta wonder. I mean, like you said, like like the whole thing with Radna being Maeve's babysitters. That it's just more like her power. Just get her away from Rad. Like I can see her. It's easy for her to just phase out of her reach. Like she can't get a hold of this little child.
Right, or even just frustrating standing right there in front of her and just constantly just phasing out and laughing as Radnam's trying to grab her.
Yeah. Like she'll just walk right through her, and it's I don't know how she would end up on the roof because she can't. I did not write it that she could climb walls. She phases through solid objects. She can.
But there's enough things to climb if you were going to be phasing through to get yourself to the roof.
True. Well, but yeah, like what I wrote in, what her abilities were, she phases through solid objects. She can sort of turn invisible, but she has to have darkness or shadows to work with. And she has that banshee scream. Anyone who hears that is going to be paralyzed with fear and dread.
We're going to have to talk about that because there's some things I just don't want to spoil, so I don't want to say them on a live chat, but there's things you should know about the Radnam.
You know what? I think we could probably call it good here, Matt. Because I want to have this conversation before Troy calls it good.
That's probably a good idea.
All right, then I will hit the stop button